The Forgotten Room. When Daniel and his wife, Claire, bought their new house, they were thrilled. It was old but charming, with Victorian-style architecture and a sprawling backyard. The price was a steal, and the real estate agent seemed eager to close the deal. Too eager. On their first night, as they settled in, Daniel noticed something odd. The house had an extra room that wasn't on the floor plan. At the end of the second-floor hallway, a small, dust-covered door stood slightly ajar. It was strange. The previous owner hadn't mentioned anything about an additional room. Daniel pushed the door open and was met with a tiny, windowless space, empty except for an old wooden rocking chair. Claire peeked inside. "Creepy," she muttered. "Let's just keep it closed." Daniel agreed. But that night, he woke up to a sound. Creak, creak, creak. His pulse quickened. It was the rocking chair. Moving. He nudged Claire awake. "Do you hear that?" The noise stopped instantly. Claire groaned. "You're imagining things." The next day, Daniel nailed the door shut. That night, at exactly 3:15 a.m., a soft knock echoed from behind the sealed door. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel shot up in bed, his heart pounding. He grabbed a flashlight and tiptoed to the hallway. The door was still shut, the nails intact. His breath hitched when he saw something beneath the door. Tiny footprints. Claire was still sleeping. Trying to rationalize it, Daniel returned to bed, convincing himself it was his imagination. The next morning, the door was wide open. The rocking chair sat in the center of the room, facing the hallway. Daniel and Claire decided to investigate. They pulled out old blueprints of the house and found something chilling. There was never supposed to be a room there. A sinking feeling settled in his gut. He dug deeper into the home's history and found an article from 1896. The original owner had a son, a frail boy named Thomas, who had been kept locked in a small room due to an unknown illness. The child had died there, and worse, his body was never found. Claire's voice trembled as she whispered, "We have to leave." That night, Daniel locked the door again. They agreed to ignore the room. But at exactly 3:15 a.m., the temperature in their bedroom plummeted. Claire clutched Daniel's arm. "It's freezing." Then they heard it. Creak, creak, creak. Daniel gripped her hand. The chair. He forced himself to look at the doorway. The door was open, and standing just outside the room was a small, shadowy figure. A child. Its head was tilted, empty sockets where eyes should have been. Claire screamed, and in an instant, the figure scuttled toward them. Daniel slammed the bedroom door shut, his heart racing. From the other side, they heard rapid scratching, like tiny nails clawing at the wood. Then a voice. Small, whimpering. "Let me out." They didn't sleep. By morning, they had packed their bags. They left without a word to the real estate agent, abandoning the house completely. Months later, Daniel drove past their old home out of curiosity. A for sale sign was out front, and through the second-floor window, he swore he saw the rocking chair, still moving. Creak, creak, creak.